I am live. Whew. Okay. Hi, everybody. I rushed to get you. The things I do for you. Hi. Welcome to another episode of the Mpumi Show. I spoke to my mom yesterday. I spoke to my mom last night after the whole thing, and she was like, "You didn't start with prayer. You need to start with prayer and end with prayer. Or how does it go in these corporate things? Do you guys not pray?" So I don't know, man. I'm just gonna listen to the wisdom of my mommy, and we're gonna start this off with prayer. I need it anyway, so let's go. Our good and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord above in heaven, thank you for the opportunity, dear God, that we have to gather and discuss matters that relate to our professions, our careers, and our lives in general. I pray, dear God, that you use me as a mouthpiece right now, and that everything that will be said here will be seeds that are planted to germinate and bear fruit in different spheres and different parts of the world, and that those fruits may really be what feeds the nations and advances your mission and does everything that you have designed and created us all to do. I pray that all of this may go well, and however long we spend here, that your Holy Spirit may spend it with us. Pray this in your wonderful name. Amen. All right. So today I am really going to be touching on a subject that I think a lot of people crave, or a thing that a lot of people crave, that a lot of people consider and never really follow through on, and that a lot of other people just, a lot of people, uh, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm looking for a particular word. A lot of people put away for some time. I think I saw someone say topic. The topic for today is the importance of a career pivot. And I know it sounds a bit like forceful when you say it is important that something happens, because it sort of makes people feel like they don't have a choice, but everyone has a choice. But even with that choice, I guess it's always great to then know what the significance of making a particular choice is. I'm seeing Nazir, I hope I've answered your question about the topic. And Sonto, I think your hands are about the prayer, saying amen. Amen. Okay. So let's just hop right in. Here's what, hey Taryn. Oh, hello. I met Taryn recently, and it's really such a beautiful thing to go to networking events and meeting new people and all of that. I'm so happy to see you here. Okay, so I have been doing the work of being a purpose alignment strategist for, I think, 3 years now. And in these 3 years, I've really interacted with a lot of professionals, young, middle aged, and old. And I've really just gotten to know what people particularly want to have and experience in their careers. And it's three things really that resonate throughout almost everyone that I speak to who is attracted to my content or attracted to the work that I do, or everyone who just voluntarily speaks on a type of career they want. These are the three things they want. And I think I'm going to touch on all these three because, ironically, if that is a word to use, these are the three things that make pivoting a career very important, or having a career pivot important. Here's the thing, right? A lot of the times when people find themselves craving or considering a career pivot, it's because they feel a number of things. One of those things is they feel that something is missing. Number two, they just feel like they want change. Number three, it's because they realize that they're playing small and they would actually like to expand themselves. All right. So these three things will then be what makes the career pivot important when you think about it, when you consider it, when you crave it, and when you want to pursue it. Number one, almost in fact, I'm tempted to say every single professional wants to experience fulfillment from their career. Fulfillment from their career. And for the longest time, talking to people about fulfillment in careers or being fulfilled in your career, I've often mistakenly said that fulfillment means happiness and left it there. And it does. When you're fulfilled, you feel a sense of contentment and joy and calm and peace. But the truth is, there is more to fulfillment than just that. So I love words. I'm a wordsmith. I love putting words together, breaking them apart. I love using them. I love investigating them. I love everything words. And so I really took this word fulfillment and wanted to understand exactly what it means. And let's break it down together. Fulfillment, right? And we know that mint always talks about a state. Contentment, it's a state of being content. Fulfillment is a state of being fulfilled. What's another one? Enjoyment is a state of enjoying what you do, or finding joy in what you're doing. Okay. So fulfillment then is a state, sharp. But then this full to me really blew my mind when I thought about it like this. So people want to be fully filled in their careers. That means they want to get to work and do work that fully fills them. You know, somebody wants to do work and feel like, I've really given it my best. I've really put everything out there. There's nothing missing. There's nothing that's left within. I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe who said the richest place on earth is the grave, because people have gone to the grave with their dreams and their aspirations and their talents. And so everyone wants to be in a career or in a profession or in a position or a role that fully fills them. And that is so beautiful, because everyone realizes that they rob themselves and they rob the environment if all they do is just fill in portions or fill in half or fill in not to the brim. But here's the beautiful thing, or the ironic thing, or when I sat and really broke down these words, I realized that in order for us to be fully filled, we need to fully fill. I love giving this example. I'm a Christian, by the way, and a lot of my anecdotes will come from the Bible, because I just think it's a beautiful book that's got beautiful lessons and principles. So we all know the story of creation, the 6 days of creation, where after day one, after creating everything on day one, God said, this is good. Day two, he creates again, and he's like, this is good. And maybe let me give a bit of light and context, a bit of meat. So day one, he separates the waters, right? He separates the sky and the sea. So the waters at the top are the sky, the waters at the bottom are the seas. So day two, what does he do? Day two, you see, I don't really know my Bible that well. But anyway, day two, he creates and he says this was good. Day three, he creates plants, I believe, and trees, and what will be habitat for some of his creatures. And he's like, this is good. Day four, he creates whatever he creates. I know there's stars and moons and all of that at some point. And he's like, this is good. Day six, he creates animals, and then he creates man. But when he creates man, he says, this is very good. And on day seven, he rests. Now, everyone can think, of course, he would have to rest because he has worked. But God, imagine a God that gets tired. I wouldn't want to serve that God, because I'm always like, he's always on speed dial for me. I want to make sure that every time he hears me. So if he's tired, he's probably going to zone out and not hear anything that I have to say. So I don't want to serve a tired God. I don't think God gets tired. So he wasn't resting because he was tired. You know why he was resting? Because he had fully filled the earth. On day one, he said this was good because he had fully filled. Day two, day three, day four, day five, he could say this is good because he had fully filled on that day. He had filled what the assignment of the day was, but he had filled the earth with what it needed at that point. Day six, after he created animals and human beings, he was like, this is very good. And he could say that because finally he had created the pinnacle of his creation, the epitome of his creativity. And he said, this is very good. So God could rest on the seventh day because he had fully filled. So while all of us are searching for fulfillment, the truth of the matter is we cannot search for fulfillment. It comes from us. And we will feel fully filled when we fully fill. When I work with my clients in my 3-month program, Purpose to Profession, I make sure that we go through their strengths assessments and their gifts test. And I try by all means to make sure that we try and see how we can capitalize on every one of those gifts, every one of those strengths. I make them do a skills audit. I make them do a talent audit, a passions audit, so that when they step into their purpose and when they establish this profession from their purpose, they are utilizing everything that God has put in their disposal for them to not just find joy and be fulfilled or fully filled, but to fully fill. So everyone who's thinking, oh, something is missing, I'm in search of that something, but I can't find it. The reason you can't find it is because you haven't put it out there. If you are searching for fulfillment, you need to start fully filling the earth, filling your community, filling your workplace, filling your business with everything that you need to fill it with: your skills, your talent, your strength, your purpose, in order for you to feel fully filled. So it's very important then that when you start craving or considering a career pivot because you're like, something is missing, I really want this, it's important that you don't chase the fulfillment, but instead you endeavor to fully fill. I hope that makes sense. Another important thing about actually pursuing a career pivot or making a career pivot is that you are able to experience variety and stimulation. I will tell you for free. When I was still in corporate and I was doing my work as a product development specialist, I was not stimulated in the least bit. And it's not to say that the work wasn't challenging or that there weren't things that needed to be ideated and created and innovated. The truth was, none of that was stimulating for me because I wasn't operating in my zone of genius. I was competent, I knew the work, I was trained to do it, I was excellent to a point, but I wasn't in my zone of genius. And so it's very important for us to pursue a career pivot because it stimulates us, right? You are in pursuit of something that will spark your brain every day and will make you excited and excitable. And so it's important then that we chase that because we get stimulated. And let me tell you something: the brain is a muscle. And when it isn't used to its fullest capacity, and I don't want to say it shrinks because it doesn't, but if you don't flex a muscle, it stops growing and it stops taking shape, right? And so if you want stimulation and you want to have a variety of skills, because what happens with a career pivot is that it gives you a variety of skills. At some point, I was a mining engineer, so I know how to do mine planning. Well, to a degree, because I did it in the beginning. I well versed on mine transportation, mine ventilation, and all of those things. And if I were to decide to go back to mining, yes, it would take a lot for me to reintegrate into that society, but I've got the skills. I was in a bank first in a sales team. I've still got those sales skills. I was on a product development team. I've still got those skills. I'm an entrepreneur now, a product development specialist, and I'm using so many other of my skills that I felt I was confined not to use in my profession. In fact, in full transparency, the reason I left is because I felt like you only want a piece of me. You only want a me that thinks analytically, a piece of me that can only fulfill what you have contracted me for. But there's so much more to me. I've got variety. I'm multifaceted, and I wanted to explore all of that and be all of that. And so it was important for me, very important for me, that I then make the pivot. And that's why it's going to be important for you as well. Because when you make a pivot, I cannot imagine that you pivot into something less stimulating. Not if you love yourself and if you're honest about what it is you truly want. So if you want to be stimulated and you want to experience the fullness of what you've got to offer, a career pivot is exactly what you need. The next thing is, when you make a career pivot, it gives you a sense of achievements. Again, I said that nobody makes a pivot into something that bores them or something that will not excite them. So it gives you a sense of achievement to think, hey, I've successfully transitioned into something that really fills my heart, into something that really is meaningful to me. I'm finally aligned with my values and my passions and doing work that I love. So it gives you a sense of achievement. And I know for sure, because my target market is people who almost think like me. Nobody thinks like me, just like nobody thinks like you. But the people who are in my target audience are ambitious. We are high achievers. We don't settle. And so I know that every time they come to me and they're like, Mpumi, I need to be in your program, or I need you to coach me, or I need you to help me turn my purpose into a profession, it's because they are high achievers. And so for people like us, for people like me, who just want to go for everything that life has to offer, when you make a career pivot, you feel a sense of achievement. It was not easy for me to quit my job. I'm not even gonna lie and come on here and say, oh, no, 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 no. But when I did, when I finally sent that resignation letter and I finally walked out of those doors, I felt a sense of achievement. I hadn't yet stepped into entrepreneurship fully. And so it's not that I felt like, yeah, I'm suddenly making all the money in the world. No, 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 it wasn't that. But I felt that I had achieved what I set my mind to. That being determining that I wasn't meant to be here and doing something about it. Actually being in pursuit of fully filling the earth with whatever God put in me, pouring it all out there. And that gave me a great sense of achievement. Another thing is when you pivot, you create autonomy for yourself. Again, I think we're in a society where people are not trying to hustle and strive. No, 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 no. We're not trying to do any of that. We're trying to, yes, put our best work out there, but if possible, with the least amount of resistance, with the least amount of effort. And not because we're lazy, but because we realize that the thing that's been hopped on us this whole time, hard work pays, is actually false. What pays is working higher. What pays is working smarter. And so you create the autonomy then of doing work that you love and doing it in your own terms when you pursue that career pivot. And mostly people who experience this flexibility and autonomy and malleability are those who get into entrepreneurship. I can tell you now, there's an emergency at home, I can easily run to that thing. I remember there was a time I was called by my niece's school because she had fallen ill, and I had to rush there, and I took her to get meds, and I took care of her the whole day. If I was employed in somebody's company, I would have had to take some time out because they are paying me for work, not for me to be fetching my niece and doing all of those things. And so really what pursuing a career pivot and choosing work that matters to you is that it gives you that autonomy and it gives you that flexibility. And finally, on this point, I want to also say that what happens with the career pivot, and we're still talking about that first thing, which is fulfillment, right? Is that it quenches your curiosity. I kept People said to me, Bumi, what will you do if your business fails? And I said to them, at least I would have known that it doesn't work. But if I hadn't made the pivots, if I'd stayed in my comfort zone, if I'd just been content in, oh, but I get paid here all the time, what was going to happen to me is that I was going to find myself in a position where I'm always curious about what could have happened. So listen to me. It's not that I don't want my business to succeed, right? I want it to succeed, but I don't have the disillusion. It is disillusion, delulu. I don't have the disillusion that everything will work out as I want it to. But then again, I have quenched my curiosity. I'm 5 months into this, and I will also tell you the truth, right? There are times where I was like, what did you do, girl? Don't you want to go back to corporate? But then again, it's just been 5 months. I haven't given it my best shot. I haven't seen the best of what it's got to offer, just like I haven't seen the worst of what it's got to offer. But what happens when we make that career pivot is that we quench our curiosity. We're no longer left to wonder, what would have happened if I had? Or what would my life look like if I had? And I want to encourage everyone that's on here that if you really want to be fulfilled, and learn as much as you can and quench that curiosity and be in alignment and be stimulated intellectually and mentally to feel a sense of achievement and have greater autonomy, you need to consider making a career pivot. Okay, so that's the first thing that I noticed a lot of these professionals want out of their careers. They want fulfillment. The second thing that I noticed, and I noticed these things because these are things that I craved as well. But in speaking to professionals, I was like, oh, hey, I'm not alone. This is a thing. The second thing is professionals want to know that they are creating impact, that they are doing work that is meaningful, not just to them, but meaningful to those that they are doing it for. I read this, it was a a quote by somebody who said, thank you, Chris. Checking in and hoping all in attendance are blessed and are in good health. I think everyone as well. I didn't ask, but thank you so much for that. Okay, so I read something the other day. Well, the other day was long ago, and it said, "Why bother?" And the response was, because right now out there is someone with a wound the shape of your words. Why bother? Because right now, somewhere, there is someone with a wound the size of your words. A lot of times we think, who wants to hear my story? Who will care to hear my thoughts? What will me doing this do for anybody? The truth is, people are wounded out there. And I'm not talking about like physical wounds or people are morose and no, but I'm talking about the fact that people have real problems out there, and those problems are their wounds. When I started my job, when I started my business, I realized that all the professionals that gravitated to me were professionals who were stuck in their professions or in their careers, who felt miserable, who felt lost, who felt like they were all over the place and they don't know what they're good at or what they need to do with their lives. It was people who had the question, Lord, why am I on this earth? What am I doing here? What do you want out of me? What is the utility you've placed on my life? And that is a problem for them because they would wake up every day, go to work, and they still do wake up every day, go to work, but still come back feeling like something is missing, that they're empty. And that is their wound. But the day I started sharing my story, the day I started putting together a program and inviting people into the program, those wounds got healed for those who've gone through my program. I've seen I've seen clients who were in academia and feeling absolutely drained and absolutely out of place. That same client then quit her job as a lecturer, went back to school for her, I think her PhD or her master's, and then started an organization with her sister and is now doing amazing work. Another client of mine was unemployed. That wound, right? Like, I know that I'm supposed to be doing something, but I don't know what to do and I don't know what to start. At the end of my journey with her, she had established an NPO. She got into a mentorship by one of South Africa's baddest and most brilliant NPO queen, Usibulele Sibata, I think. She got mentorship with her. And I remember she called me the other day saying, listen, I was called upon to pitch my NPO. And everything we did in the program made the journey so easy for me because I didn't have to start from scratch. Everything they wanted to know, I had already populated and done in the program. And that's what we talk about when we talk about impact. There are people out there with questions that you have answers to. There are people out there who are really crying every day. And they're crying because you haven't taken your position in your purpose to do the work that you were created for. And when we talk about impact, I know that everyone who works wants to make sure that their work counts for something, that they're not just wasting away or spending hours, but that they are actually doing work that is meaningful and work that will carry something forward, something positive forward. And so it's important then to pivot, to pivot in your career or to make a career pivot if you want to have that impact. If you feel like I'm not doing the most that I can, and yeah, I'm selling these things, but like they're not really, I'm designing this thing or I'm developing this, but it's not really counting for anything that's meaningful to you, then it's very important that you don't just consider, but that you pivot your career, because impact is where it's at. Again, I'm going to be very, very transparent with you. When I was considering leaving my job, I thought about two things, right? The one was, but here's an environment here where you can actually do good work and stuff like that. And then on the other side was, I can step out as an entrepreneur and with the same framework that I have, with the same voice that I use, with the same mind that I apply, I cannot just serve this organization, but many organizations like it and many organizations that are unlike it at all. So when I was thinking about should I stay or should I leave, I thought if I use my IP here, it might just be absorbed here and I can't take it away with me when I go away. But I can still maintain my IP and not just serve banks, but serve insurance, the insurance industry, but serve the mining industry, but serve the construction industry and all of that. And so part of my decision to make my career pivot was the fact that I wanted to have more impact. And more impact for me meant not confining myself to a space, but putting myself in a position where I can be called upon any and everywhere. And I can use that IP, use that framework, and use the methodology that I use to effect the change that I want to. And so when you are considering a pivot as well, think about which arena, which area, which space will allow for me to have the most impact. I normally say to my clients who are saying, Bumi, should I start a business? Or should I stay in corporate? Or should I start an NPO? Or what should I do? I always say to them, in which area will you have the most impact? That is the area you need to go to. Okay, that was the second thing. And the third and the last thing that I've found many professionals are after is wealth. And I know you were probably thinking, we want to get paid for the work that we do. Yes, that is very valid. People want to get paid for the work that they do. But over and above that, what we truly want is to build wealth. And what wealth is, or to me at least, because I mean, I've got my brain and my brain only, what wealth is to me is really finding yourself in a position where you don't have to work for your money, but your money works for you. And I found with a lot of my clients who are ambitious and high achievers that they just want to build wealth. And here's the beautiful thing about how you can build wealth by pivoting in your career. Let me just read this comment by Usonto. Just what I have been meditating on today to have impact. Yes. And if you feel like you're not as impactful as you need to be in your current position, then you might need to make a career pivot just so that you can have the most impact and you can do work that truly fulfills you. So let's talk about wealth, right? What happens with the career pivots? Okay, so let me tell you, guys, I'm sharing all my secrets with you, but it's okay because I want us to all grow, right? So I remember talking to the regional manager that was in charge of our region, obviously, back in 2019. And I said to her, listen, I don't think I'm getting paid well. I need more money. Just like, oh, that's fair. I'll try and see what I can hustle for you, what I can do for you. And we had back and forth conversations. And she said to me, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. The most you can get a bump on here. It's like really 10%ish, nakona if you're lucky, right? Might be 3%, 4%, like with that annual increase, right? So 3 or 4%, that's the most you'll get here if you're really bargaining for an increase. What will help you is if you go to a competitor, interview there, and then if they give you a higher offer, you come back here and be like, yo, if you don't want to lose me, pay up because other people are willing to pay me more for it. And the principle she was really shedding light on there for me was the only way you will keep bumping up your salary is if you move from one organization to the next, to the next. And I know a lot of people who've done that. A friend of mine is making really good money now because every chance he got, he would go to a competitor. Every chance he got, he would interview with another company and they would give him a higher salary and he'd take that and make a counter offer or he'd just go. And that's how he's managing to build his wealth. And he's really amassing some really great wealth and doing a lot with his career because he has been making those pivots, right? And so what a career pivot affords you then is that it gives you the ability to earn higher income, right? I wrote something here: lucrative opportunities make you more money, and that's essentially it. So making a career pivot, if you're really trying to build wealth, is that you're gonna have to make those jumps and be unafraid to make those jumps. There is a notion that's going around about millennials and Gen Zs by our boomers and what's the one before boomers? Those people. And they keep saying, these Gen Zers, these millennials are not loyal. And listen, we are very loyal, but we're loyal to ourselves. And so you find us jumping from one job to another, unafraid, like jumping from industry to industry, from mining to banking to personal development. We do all these things because we are loyal to our cause. We are loyal to ourselves. While you find a boomer has been in an organization since they were 20 years old or they were 19 years old, and they have stayed in their organization until they were 65. That's what happens with them. But we are loyal to a cause, because a lot of the conversations I've had with professionals is that, and it's actually from a study that was done by Gallup, a report that they did on the state of the workforce, was that people truly are looking for purpose in their careers. And so we are true to our purpose and true to our call, and we will jump as many times as we have to get to that salary range. Another way that we can build wealth via pivoting our careers is that we allow ourselves to have a diverse set of skills and diverse income streams, right? And this is so beautiful because we are unafraid to pivot, right? We are unafraid to dabble into a lot of things, is that it allows you to have a diverse set of skills, and you don't just stay confined or stuck on, oh, this is the only thing I can do and nobody else would hire me. But we can hire ourselves, we can take on freelancing work, we can do work with an organization, we do all of those things. And having multiple streams of income, baby, that thing will allow you to build real wealth. Another thing I wrote here is some people may need to pivot into entrepreneurship. And the reason for that is because in entrepreneurship, there's no cap to what you can make. When I realized that I can just speak for an hour, for 1 hour of one day, not an hour every day, 1 hour of one day, and make half of what I was making in a month in my corporate job, I was like, why am I still playing myself? What's going on? And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? There's no telling how far you'll go, there's no capping what you can make. And another thing as well is that when you start making a lot of money, you open yourself up to investment opportunities, because you have more money or more income available to invest, and you can start building passive income and increase your net worth. And speaking on network, the other beautiful thing about pivoting your career is that you get to make more social connections and you get to network. And we know what they say about your net worth being your network, or your network being your net worth, right? So the beautiful thing is that now, because you've got more money, you're able to invest. And not just that, but because you're opening yourself up to many people from different spheres and different walks and different expertise, is that you're then able to find mentorship. You're able to get insight from people from all walks of life, and you're able to form partnerships with people from diverse backgrounds and diverse in industries and environments. And that way you're able to build wealth, because who you know matters. And finally, what also happens when you make a career pivot, especially into entrepreneurship, is that you get an increased financial awareness. I remember when I left my job and I met with my mentor, friend, sister. This is the same person who was my regional manager while I was still in the bank. She said to me, because she actually retired herself way before I quit my job. She said to me, I knew that I was financially savvy. I knew that I had a handle on my money, but man, when I became an entrepreneur, I was amazed at just how savvy and just how smart I am with my money. What happens is that because you realize that the change may cause a bit of instability, you learn to become resourceful. And I can tell you right now, I know how to stretch a dollar. Okay, I don't get paid in dollars. I do get paid in dollars. What am I talking about? I can now stretch a rand better than when I was sitting comfortably knowing that, oh, on this day of the month, I'm getting my salary and whatnot. And so that is the importance of actually pivoting your career. It's that you can find not even a sense of fulfillment, but you can step into fulfillment, meaning you are fully filled, but only because you are fully filling. Number two is that you get to create impact, resounding impact that will outlast you. You get to live your legacy before you leave your legacy. And finally, you can build wealth, which is everything I've found professionals look for in their careers. And the truth of the matter is that I found that the only place to truly get the most fulfillment, to create the most resounding impact, and to generate the most wealth is in your purpose. Because it is in that place where you are being utilized for truly what you were designed and created for. And I have created the most amazing thing, if I do say so myself, the most amazing thing. The best way I have filled this world with my knowledge and my wisdom and my skill and my expertise is when I created a program called Purpose to Profession. It is a 3-month program that is, oh my goodness, there's nothing like it out there. Not in the spaces that I've searched, and definitely not in the spaces that don't exist, because I think I've searched everywhere. When I was on my pursuits of, Lord, what is my purpose? Help me out. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I created this thing. And I don't even think I created it. I walked a journey, and that became the trail that I left behind. And documenting all of that and putting it together into a program is how I have managed to experience fulfillment, because I'm fully filling. Is how I've managed to create impact that I see with my eyes when I see people pivoting their careers, and I see people stepping into what was truly meant for them to be in. And when I see them taking up space and taking charge and making the money they've always yearned for and doing the things that they've always wanted to do, even though they didn't have the verbiage or the language for it. For me, that is so, so amazing. And so in October, actually, October, November, December, I am taking I'm taking a new cohort through the program that is called Purpose to Profession. So between this week and next week, I'm finishing and finalizing the enrollment of that program. I am going to leave a link in the description, or the caption of this video, for everyone who wants to hop on a discovery call with me. So I hear particularly where you are in your career, what you think you want to pivot to, and where you want to take your career. And the program really, in the first month, takes you through purpose discovery, knowing exactly, without mumbling and fumbling, knowing exactly what your purpose is. And in the second month, then saying, what is the profession that suits or fits this purpose? And in the final month, we then just make sure that you are thriving in that thing. We set you up, we put you out there, develop a brand around you, whether it is for corporate or your business or NPO or whatever it is. But we make sure that you thrive in that space. And in the fourth month and all the other months preceding that, we watch as you get awarded and you get all your accolades for creating impact in a way that fully fills you and making money while you're at it. And so if you've been considering a career pivot, or you're just like, I need to know what my purpose is, I need to step into what that purpose is, and I want to finally thrive, Purpose to Profession is the place for you to be. Again, I'll leave the link so we can have that call, and I'll give you all the information that you need, and we will take it from there. That was episode 2. I hope you liked it. And listen, I came here rushing and huffing and puffing, but we did it anyway. I nearly called it off, but there's something about keeping your commitments, or keeping the promises that you made to yourself and others, that gives you a sense of achievements. Again, I did say I'm a hyper achiever, a high achiever. And so for me, I can tick this and say I've really achieved what I set to do, what I set my mind to do. And yeah, I am happy that I did it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for engaging in the comment section. We'll get to a point where I'm just like, hey guys, let's get feedback, ask your questions. But right now, I'm still trying to find my feet. I'm still trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly. But I really appreciate you joining me. And I hope that you found this episode to be edifying. And that goes in the books as episode 2 of the Mpumi Show. I'll see you tomorrow with another riveting conversation. Love you all, guys. Bye.